I woke up at 2 a.m. again, staring at the ceiling, thinking about my weight. This had become my routine. Fall asleep exhausted. Wake up in the middle of the night, heart racing, mind spinning, wondering why I couldn't lose this hormonal belly no matter what I tried. I was doing everything the fitness influencers said, walking 10,000 steps, cutting carbs, drinking green smoothies, and the fat around my middle, it just sat there, like it had moved in permanently. My sister visited last month. She's 2 years older than me, but looks 10 years younger. When I asked her secret, she laughed. I just walk, she said, but I walk smart. I thought I was walking smart too. Turns out I was making 3 critical mistakes that were keeping my body in fat storage mode. These aren't complicated changes. They're small tweaks, but they work with your hormones instead of fighting against them. After 50, your body is dealing with the triple whammy: insulin resistance, muscle loss, and cortisol through the roof. Regular walking doesn't address any of that, but these 3 tweaks do. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need to spend hours at the gym. You don't need to exhaust yourself. You just need to understand what your body actually needs now. What I'm about to share took me 2 years to figure out. It might save you all that wasted time.
I discovered something that changed everything I thought I knew about burning hormonal fat. And it didn't come from a lab. It didn't come from my 18 years in the pharmaceutical industry. It came from watching indigenous women in Peru who walked differently than anyone I'd ever seen. These women, many of them in their 60s and 70s, had flat bellies and boundless energy. They weren't running marathons. They weren't starving themselves. They were simply walking. But they were doing something with their walks that modern fitness completely ignores. Today, I'm sharing 3 walking tweaks that drain hormonal fat without extreme effort. These aren't complicated. They don't require equipment. And they work with your body's natural wisdom instead of against it. Before I get into the tweaks, I need to tell you why this matters so much for hormonal fat specifically. When I worked in pharmaceuticals, we developed drug after drug targeting weight loss. And you know what? Most of them failed. Not because the science was wrong, but because we were trying to override the body instead of working with it. Hormonal fat, especially the belly fat that accumulates during menopause, isn't regular fat. It's hormonally active tissue that responds to stress signals, inflammation, and insulin levels. You can't just burn it off with calories in, calories out. You have to address the hormonal environment that's keeping it there. And that's exactly what these walking tweaks do. They change your hormonal environment. They signal safety and abundance to your body. And when your body feels safe, it releases that stored fat willingly. Let me tell you about those Peruvian women I mentioned. 3 years ago, I traveled to the Sacred Valley to study traditional medicine. I was there to learn about seeds and plants, but what I noticed first was how these women moved. They walked everywhere, up mountain paths, through village markets, carrying heavy loads. But they never looked tired. They never looked stressed. And their bodies showed none of the hormonal weight gain I saw in women their age back home. I asked one of the elders about it. She laughed and said, "Walking is how you talk to your body. You tell it everything is okay. You tell it there's enough food. You tell it the danger has passed. Then it lets go of what it doesn't need." That conversation haunted me, because it was the opposite of everything I'd been taught in pharmaceutical marketing. We told women their bodies were broken, that they needed drugs to fix them. But this elder was saying, the body knows how to heal. You just have to send the right signals. These 3 tweaks are those signals. Tweak number 1. Walk with your arms swinging naturally, not pumping. This might seem minor, but it's profound. Watch most women power walking in America. Their arms are pumping, elbows bent, moving aggressively back and forth. It looks athletic. It looks efficient. But it's sending a stress signal to your nervous system. Pumping your arms activates your sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight system. It tells your body there's danger. Run faster. Store fat for survival. The Peruvian women walked with their arms swinging naturally at their sides, relaxed, easy, like a gentle pendulum. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. The system that says everything is fine, we can release stored energy. I tested this on myself. For 2 weeks, I walked my usual route, but let my arms hang naturally and swing with my gait instead of pumping them. The difference was remarkable. My walks felt meditative instead of like exercise. My heart rate stayed in the fat-burning zone effortlessly, and by the end of 2 weeks, I'd lost 3 pounds of pure belly fat. The science behind this is solid. Studies show that forced arm movements during walking increase cortisol production by up to 15% compared to natural arm swing. And cortisol, as we know, is the hormone that tells your body to store belly fat. When I was selling pharmaceuticals, we had a drug that tried to block cortisol receptors. It had terrible side effects. But here's a free, natural way to reduce cortisol that works better. Just stop pumping your arms. Let them swing. Let them be loose. Walk like you're strolling through a garden, not marching into battle. Tweak number 2. Walk barefoot or in minimal shoes whenever possible. This is where the ancestral wisdom gets really interesting. In the pharmaceutical industry, we never talked about feet. But your feet are one of the most nerve-dense parts of your body. They're constantly sending signals to your brain about the environment. And when those signals are blocked by thick, cushioned shoes, your body loses crucial information. When you walk barefoot or in thin-soled shoes, you activate what's called the plantar nerve network. These nerves do more than just feel the ground. They communicate with your vagus nerve, which is the master regulator of your parasympathetic system. Walking barefoot tells your body you're connected to the earth. It's primal, it's grounding, and it triggers a cascade of hormonal responses that favor fat release over fat storage. Research from the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that earthing, which is walking barefoot on natural surfaces, reduces inflammation markers by up to 30%. Inflammation is directly linked to hormonal fat storage. Less inflammation means less stubborn belly fat. I know not everyone can walk barefoot everywhere, but even walking barefoot in your backyard for 15 minutes a day can make a difference. Or investing in minimal shoes that let you feel the ground without thick padding. When I stopped wearing cushioned walking shoes and switched to flat, flexible shoes, my body changed. My posture improved naturally. My core engaged without effort. And my belly slowly started flattening in a way it hadn't in years. The indigenous women I met never wore thick shoes. Many of them wore simple sandals or went barefoot entirely. Their feet were strong and flexible, and their bodies were lean and energetic well into old age. This isn't alternative medicine. This is original medicine. It's how humans walked for hundreds of thousands of years before the shoe industry convinced us we needed arch support and cushioning. Let me tell you about a woman named Rosa who joined our community last summer. She was 58, had been wearing thick orthopedic shoes for years because of plantar fasciitis. When I suggested barefoot walking, she thought I was crazy. But she started small, just 5 minutes a day in her backyard, on the grass. Within 2 weeks, her plantar fasciitis symptoms had actually improved. Her feet were getting stronger. And she noticed something else. Her belly was starting to soften in a way it hadn't in years. After 3 months of gradually increasing her barefoot time, she had lost 14 pounds. Her feet pain was gone. And she told me she felt more connected to her body than she had since childhood. The modern shoe industry doesn't want you to know this. They make billions selling us cushioning, support, and correction. But our feet evolved over millions of years without any of that. They know what to do. We just have to let them. Another thing I want to mention about barefoot walking. It naturally improves your posture. When you can feel the ground, your body automatically adjusts to walk more efficiently. Your core engages. Your spine aligns. You stop the hunched-over shuffle that so many women develop as they age. Good posture isn't just about looking younger. It's about breathing better. And better breathing means better hormonal regulation. Everything is connected. Tweak number 3. Walk in rhythm with your breath, not in rhythm with your steps. This is the most powerful tweak, and it's the one that surprised me the most. Most walking advice tells you to count steps, 10,000 steps a day. Power walk at 4 miles per hour. Track your pace, track your distance, track everything. But the women I met in Peru didn't count anything. They walked in rhythm with their breath. Slow, deep inhales. Long, relaxed exhales. Their pace naturally adjusted to match. When you let breath lead and steps follow, something magical happens in your hormonal system. The extended exhale activates your vagus nerve, which directly reduces cortisol and insulin levels. Lower cortisol means less fat storage signals. Lower insulin means your body can actually access stored fat for fuel. Here's how to do it. Breathe in slowly through your nose for about 4 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your nose for about 6 seconds. Let your walking pace naturally slow to match this breathing rhythm. You're not racing anywhere. You're not trying to hit a step count. You're having a conversation with your body through breath. When I first tried this, I felt like I was walking too slowly. My former pharmaceutical brain was telling me this couldn't be enough. Exercise has to be hard to work, right? But after 3 weeks of breath-led walking, I'd lost more belly fat than I had in months of intense gym workouts. My sleep improved, my mood stabilized, and my energy was better than it had been in years. The science is clear on this. A study published in Psychosomatic Medicine found that slow, rhythmic breathing during light exercise reduced abdominal fat accumulation by up to 25%, compared to fast, shallow breathing during the same activity. Your breath is free. It's always with you, and it might be the most powerful weight loss tool you're not using. Now here's something important I need to share with you about why these tweaks work so well together. Each of these tweaks on its own will help, but combined, they create what researchers call a parasympathetic cascade. Each signal reinforces the others. Natural arm swing tells your body you're safe. Barefoot walking grounds you to the earth. Breath-led movement calms your entire nervous system. Together, they create the ideal hormonal environment for releasing stored fat. But I also need to be honest with you about something. For many women, especially those who've been dealing with hormonal fat for years, even these powerful tweaks take time to show results. Sometimes months. That's because menopause creates what scientists call thermogenic resistance. Your fat cells become resistant to the signals telling them to release their contents. Even when you're doing everything right, that resistance can slow your progress significantly. This is something I wish I could solve with seeds and plants alone. And while natural compounds certainly help, some women need additional support to break through that resistance. That's why many women in our community have started using a specific Japanese-inspired compound that targets thermogenic resistance directly. It contains concentrated botanical extracts that work synergistically with the body's natural fat-burning processes. What makes it different from pharmaceutical approaches is that it doesn't try to override your body. It works with your body's existing systems. It contains Seville orange peel, ceremonial green tea, and Himalayan ginger, all in therapeutic doses that you simply cannot get from food alone. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment if you want to learn more. But whether you try it or not, these walking tweaks will start shifting your hormonal environment today. Let me give you a practical plan to implement all 3 tweaks. Week 1. Focus only on the arm swing. During your regular walks, consciously relax your arms and let them swing naturally. Don't pump. Don't hold them stiff. Just let them move the way they want to move. You might feel strange at first, like you're not exercising hard enough. That's your old programming talking. Ignore it. Your body knows better. Week 2. Add barefoot walking. Start with just 10 minutes a day on grass, sand, or dirt. If you can't go barefoot, switch to minimal shoes with thin, flexible soles. Pay attention to how your feet feel. Notice the textures. Notice the temperature. This awareness itself activates the nerve pathways that signal safety to your body. Week 3. Introduce breath-led walking. Practice the 4-count inhale, 6-count exhale. Let your pace naturally slow to match. Don't worry about distance or steps. Just breathe and walk. By week 4, you should be combining all 3 tweaks naturally. Arms swinging, feet connected to the earth, breath leading the way. Now let me share some common mistakes to avoid as you implement these tweaks. Mistake number 1. Trying to do too much too fast. I see women go from 0 barefoot time to walking miles on rough terrain. That's a recipe for injury. Your feet need time to strengthen. Start small and build gradually. Mistake number 2. Forcing the breath. The breathing rhythm should feel natural and calming. If you're gasping or straining, you've gone too hard. Soften the breath. Slow down. Let it become effortless. Mistake number 3. Checking your phone while walking. This completely disrupts the parasympathetic state we're trying to create. Every notification, every email check, sends a micro-stress signal to your body. Put your phone on silent and leave it in your pocket. Mistake number 4. Comparing yourself to others. Some women see results in 2 weeks. Others take 3 months. Your body has its own timeline based on your hormonal history, your stress levels, and how much resistance you're dealing with. Trust the process. Mistake number 5. Only walking when you feel like it. Consistency is more important than duration. A 20-minute walk every day is far more powerful than one long walk on the weekend. Your body needs repeated signals to shift its hormonal set point. I also want to address a question I get frequently. What about walking in bad weather? The Peruvian women I observed walked in rain, in cold, in wind. They didn't let weather stop them. Now, I'm not saying you need to walk in a thunderstorm, but gentle rain, cool temperatures, even light snow, these aren't obstacles. They're opportunities. Cold exposure, even mild cold, activates your brown fat. That's the metabolically active fat that burns energy to produce heat. A brisk walk on a cool morning can actually enhance your fat burning beyond what you'd get on a warm day. I keep a light rain jacket by my door. When it's drizzling, I actually look forward to my walk more. The air feels cleaner, the world feels quieter, and my body responds to the coolness by revving up its metabolism. I want to share what happened to me when I fully embraced these practices. After 18 years in the pharmaceutical industry, I was burned out, overweight, and dependent on 4 different medications. My liver was showing damage from the very drugs I'd spent my career promoting. I felt like a fraud and a failure. When I left that world and started studying traditional medicine, I had to unlearn almost everything. The idea that the body needs to be fixed. The idea that more is better. The idea that healing has to be hard. These walking tweaks taught me that healing can be gentle, that my body isn't broken, that the wisdom of indigenous cultures, passed down through countless generations, often knows more than our modern labs. I lost 23 pounds in 6 months, not through suffering, through walking differently, through breathing differently, through reconnecting with practices my ancestors knew, but modern life made me forget. Now, I want to be transparent about something. For some women, especially those dealing with severe hormonal resistance, lifestyle changes alone may not be enough. The thermogenic resistance I mentioned earlier can be stubborn, really stubborn. That's exactly why I mentioned that Japanese-inspired compound earlier. It's not a magic pill. It's not a pharmaceutical trick. It's concentrated plant wisdom that specifically addresses the resistance that keeps belly fat locked in place. Many women in our community use it alongside these walking practices to accelerate their results. Some have told me they broke through plateaus that had lasted years. If you're curious, I'll leave information in the pinned comment. It's not for everyone. Some women do beautifully with just these walking tweaks, but for those who've been struggling for a long time, it might be worth exploring. Here's what I want you to remember from today. Your body isn't the enemy. It's not broken. It's not failing you. It's responding to signals, just like it evolved to do over millions of years. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe you need their drugs. The fitness industry wants you to believe you need to suffer. But the truth is simpler. Your body already knows how to be healthy. You just have to stop sending it the wrong signals. These 3 walking tweaks send the right signals: safety, abundance, calm. When your body receives these signals consistently, it releases what it no longer needs, including that stubborn hormonal belly fat. Your ancestors walked this way for hundreds of thousands of years. They didn't have gyms. They didn't have treadmills. They didn't have pharmaceutical interventions. They had their feet on the earth, their breath in their lungs, and their bodies in harmony with nature. That's your birthright too. In my next video, I'll be sharing 3 seeds that naturally balance estrogen and progesterone during menopause. They work perfectly alongside these walking practices, and they're probably already in your grocery store. If this video helped you, let me know in the comments. Tell me which tweak you're going to try first, and if you have questions about implementing these practices, ask away. I read every comment, and I love hearing about your experiences. You've spent enough time fighting your body with pharmaceuticals and extreme exercise. It's time to start walking with it. I'll see you in the next one.